What's up, guys? It's Jumping Jackson. Today, I'm making a tier list ranking every zombie in Plants vs. Zombies 2 based on what they would choose in a game of rock, paper, scissors. Now, let me explain first, in case you're unaware. Now, this rock tier means that they would pick rock. Paper, it means they'd pick paper. Now, scissors, this is where it gets interesting. Scissors actually means that they would pick scissors, and something completely made up is like when they're like, "Oh, actually, I picked the sun and it melts your rock, so I win." Now, let's just get right into it. I'd like to start with the some of the modern dudes first, and then I'll just go in whatever order this is in. So let's start it off with the basic zombie. The basic zombie, he has a very simple mind, not much thought going on there. He's gonna pick rock. He's basic. He's simple. A very simple man. Conehead, however, Conehead is more elegant and distinguished, you know? He's more fancy. He's just simply better than the others, you know? He thinks he's better and he's right. So he has the very, very elegant choice of scissors. Now Buckethead, you may think, well, if Conehead's all, fancy and wondrous, Buckethead must be too. No. He's even simpler than the basic zombie. This man got a bucket, put it on his head. He was like, "Ooh, this thing's metal. It's gonna protect me." Nope. Conehead. Conehead's kind of smart. He put a street cone on there. Bet you wouldn't think about that, because he's just above us. Brickhead, same story as the Buckethead. He's not stupid because he had a bad idea. He was actually pretty smart. The stupid idea is that he's never getting out of here. He's sealed himself in his own coffin. The flag zombie, come on. It's paper. It's obviously paper. This guy right here, he's waving his flag. He's like telling us, "Paper! It's paper, guys! I picked paper!" Rally Zombie also picks paper. Go figure. Now, Newspaper Zombie, I mean, it's in the name. News obviously picks paper. But if he picks paper and you tie or you beat him, he will always, 100% of the time, pick rock after that. Because he's so mad, he starts shaking his fist. And it's the same story for Sunday edition. Because he's just the same, except his paper's bigger. He might pick paper twice. That's the only difference. Balloon Zombie. Balloon Zombie. He'd probably pick balloons. I'm gonna be honest. He's got the thoughts of a 2-year-old in that brain. He's gonna be like, "I pick a balloon," and then he's not even gonna realize that all three of these things could beat a balloon. Throw a rock at a balloon, pop, pew. Throw a paper airplane at a balloon, pop, pew. Throw some scissors at it. I don't even need to explain that one. Football Zombie. We're going back to the basics. It's obviously rock. Exploding Imp. That's a tough one. He'd probably pick like a bomb. He'd be like, "Actually, I picked a bomb." Actually, he's holding up one finger, so he kind of has to make something up. The Yeti's a definite rock picker. The Imp, the Imp. He's a child. He's gonna pick something stupid. Gargantuar. Now this is where you wouldn't expect this. He's actually got some thoughts up in that head. He'd be going for scissors. But Vase Gargantuar, he can't thoughts. His brain, well, whatever's left of his brain in there, all crushed from being in that vase. Pixelated Buckethead, also picks rock for pretty much the same reason. Conehead actually doesn't pick scissors because he tries to hold up 2 fingers, but he's all pixelated, so he accidentally picks paper. And Basic Zombie, he also picks rock. Now this guy, Lost Explorer guy, right here, I don't actually know what this guy's name is. I don't know what the Lost City zombies are called, but he'd be picking scissors. Because he's thinking about his mustache. He's like, "Oh, does it need a trim?" Amberhead, he'd pick rock. That's a pretty obvious one. This guy right here, also picking rock. This guy right here, he's a scissors picker. He's got more swag than you'd expect. Actually, not more than you'd expect. You can see how much swag he's got, and it's quite a bit. Barrelhead. What do you think? It's rock. We're gonna see a common theme here. This guy's pretty much just pushing a rock already. You might say, "Oh, but he's picking paper because his hands are flat," and I say, no. What are you, stupid? This guy's picking paper. Pretty obvious one. Now this one, you're not going to expect this one because it's actually really interesting. They pick rock. This one right here, I'm not even elaborating. This one right here, they also pick rock. But this one right here, they're actually a paper picker, which is smart because no one expects them to pick it. This guy right here, he picked something completely made up. We all know that. He's like, ray gun. Oh, I obliterate whatever you picked. And then you're like, I actually picked the ray gun shield. And he's like, no. He's really easy to mess with. He's not very smart. He just rushes along, you know. Blockhead right here. He does try to pick an ice block, but it ends up just being a rock. The boombox guy, you know, he's got some swag to him. He picks paper. You know, this guy right here, he picks scissors because he's always holding up that peace sign. He's like, "What's up?" This guy right here, also picking scissors because he's thinking about his mustache. This guy right here, he's picking someone completely and utterly made up. He's picking like revolver or cactus or spittoon, probably. Egypt buckethead. Well, you know, the mind of a buckethead often resorts to rock, and an Egyptian zombie would probably be thinking paper. But this guy, he's not thinking anything. He picks scissors. Oh, actually, let me add another tier, right here for. Let me make it like a mystical color for random every time because there's some who just don't put any thought into any of it at all, which I mean makes sense. It's rock paper scissors. Buckethead, we already know he's picking rock. Rocks are actually he doesn't actually know what paper or scissors are. He stones people. You know, with like rocks when you like throw rocks at people and kill them in like the olden days. I don't actually know what this buckethead is called, but he'd actually pick paper because paper is made of trees and trees are also wood, and he's thinking of walking the plank. This guy right here picking something completely made up because this right here, that thing right there, that's not even in rock paper scissors. The bug zombie's picking rock. This guy right here, he actually, I need to add another new tier, which is doesn't know the rules. Which is only for the absolute losers who don't know how to play rock, paper, scissors. Unless you're awesome and you don't know how to play rock, paper, scissors, then you're not a loser, but you still go in that tier. I think a color I'd represent stupidity with is probably like a I don't know. It's not on this list. Let's just go with this blue color. So this guy doesn't know the rules. This guy right here, the big cake guy. I mean, cake is not in the game. These guys are picking paper, obviously. It looks like they're holding big sheets of paper. This guy's picking rock. Not many thoughts in his head. He's only thinking about lifting weights. What's the heaviest thing out of all these? A rock. A big rock. Buckethead with slop on his head. I actually don't know what this is. But he's picking something completely made up. He's probably picking that slop on his head. Let me go Carney Imp and Carney Imp Cannon. I think that was the names, at least. Carney Imp is picking, rock. Go figure. But Carney Imp Cannon is picking Carney Imp. Because that's all I can do is shoot out a Carney Imp. Clown Conehead is gonna take out like a rubber chicken. I actually don't know this one either, but he's picking paper. He's a flag zombie. Of course he's picking paper. Imp with hair. Random every time. They don't have much thought. Same with this one. Double imp with hair. They doubled it and gave it to the next person. They disagree a lot, so it's random every time for each of them. They never actually end up in agreement. Is this like what the frick is this? Is he British or something? He looks like Waldo. No, he doesn't. Maybe he does. I can't remember what Waldo looks like. Put up an image of Coca-Cola. Ah, delicious. Okay, so this guy. This guy is actually, you know, he's got a little bit of class to him. He's picking paper. Minecart head. He actually doesn't have any consistency. This guy, however, someone completely made up. There's no basketballs in rock, paper, scissors. And it's not a rock, because rocks don't tend to be orange. Uh, what is up with this bucket head? Is that like a tin can on his head? What's going on there? I never questioned that. Anyways, all of the Frostbite Caves ones are freaking picking rocks. Even the flag guy, actually, surprisingly. All these little, like, caveman brain dudes. These guys are actually even more caveman brained than the cavemen in the Jurassic Marsh. This guy right here, he's picking scissors because it reminds him of his dueling blades. This guy right here is picking chickens. That's not even in the game. Conehead with a mustache. Obviously picking scissors because he's got a mustache. This guy right here, he actually doesn't know the rules. His friends never told him. He's an outcast because he's actually swag. Everyone else in Wild West sucks, but they think they're cool. All the other guys, they make fun of him. He's like Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, except he's the green-skinned zombie. Uh, this guy's picking paper. He's like, he looks down at his hands. He sees the bandage. He's like, oh, paper, and he says it out loud, so you can always beat him. This guy right here. This guy right here is he's picking scissors. He's like the other coneheads. This guy right here is actually picking paper. No one actually knows why. He just picks paper. Riley Zombie picking paper. Basic, basic in Wild West. He actually doesn't know the rules. Wait, why did I put this guy doesn't know the rules? Oh no, he doesn't know the rules because no one taught him. This guy doesn't know the rules because he's actually stupid. He just throws up gang signs. This guy's picking rock. Do I need to explain to you why this guy's picking rock? This guy right here, he's picking like fish. It's something completely made up. That's not in the game. This guy right here is picking Disco Jetpack Zombie. Not in the game. Disco Jetpack Zombie is picking he actually doesn't know the rules because he just got created. He came from above. He just got like brought down from heaven, and he was from a time when they didn't have rock paper scissors because they were too busy dancing to disco music. The bird, he actually doesn't know how to play. He tries to play, but he ends up picking things completely made up. But he actually doesn't know how to play, so it's different. It's different. Rally Zombie, paper. This guy right here, he picks something completely made up because getting your opponent on a shovel and throwing them behind you is actually not in the rules of rock paper scissors. A lot of people make that mistake though. This guy picks fire. Do I need to explain why? No. This guy picks fire. Do I need to explain why? Nope. Fisherman, scissors. He looks at the end of his fishing rod. He's like, that kind of looks like scissors. And then he flings into the other person. It hits them in the face. He's like, oh, dude, I don't even know what you picked. They look at the thing and they're like, oh, that kind of looks like scissors. This guy, with also picking scissors because he's thinking about his mustache. Oh my God, is that the French flag? It's not the French flag. Obviously paper. Paper. Paper, easy peasy. Future Buckethead is actually picking something that doesn't exist yet, which is the future replacement for rocks. They're called robots. Conehead's also picking something that's completely and utterly made up. Well, not made up, but it's not in the rules currently. It's laser beam. It actually beats robots. And I'll just do the basic one now. He picks water, which does exist now, but it's not rock paper scissors, which defeats lasers, but can't beat robots because robots are waterproof because they evolved from droids in evolution. This guy does pick paper though, even though he's from the future. They still have paper. It's like hollow paper, like digital. But this guy picks shark. That's not in the game, sadly. This guy right here picks telephone pole arms, which is also not in the game. This guy picks rock because he's thinking of a ball, and because he's got a little baseball bat. He's thinking of playing softball later. This guy picks what the frick is that thing called? Pedestal? That's not a pedestal. Column? Part of a coliseum. There's a name for the thingy. He picks long white thing. Oh, that's not even that. Okay. This one right here. They don't actually play rock paper scissors. Like they would refuse to play. So they'll go and don't know the rules because they've never played it. So obviously they don't know the rules. They'd refuse. They'd be like, nah. This guy right here, he picks monkey. I'm pretty sure there's monkeys in his head. And if there isn't, he looks like he'd pick monkey still. This guy right here picks scissors because he's going to shred it. You know? Okay, I'll kill myself. This guy right here picks, this guy actually picks paper. Because he's thinking about, he's thinking about his divorce papers. This guy right here picks healing his friends, which is actually against the rules. Unlike the other ones. The other ones aren't against the rules. You just have to redo. This is against the rules. This guy right here also picks the hollow rock with the bucket head, which is obviously not in the game. This guy picks snowballs, not in the game. The weasel picks scissors. I'm not going to elaborate on why. This one picks imps, obviously not in the game. This guy actually picks paper, surprisingly. Mermaid imp. Random every time. There's no consistency in that little brain. This guy right here picks rocks because he's thinking about the time that he got stoned to death. This one, do they have eyelashes? No, that's the bandages. They pick paper, though. Naked imp. He's just the same as the normal one, except he doesn't have clothes. So whatever he picks has no clothes on. This guy right here. This guy right here picks pirate's treasure every time, which isn't in the game. Well, yeah, it's coming in a couple of years. They're adding it as DLC. A backpack imp picks rocks because they remind him of the trail that he walks upon to go on his backpacking journey. This guy right here picks scissors because he also likes to shred it. The jester right here, random every time. There's no coherent thoughts in that man's mind. The jetpack zombie, he's got some class. He picks scissors. He's an educated fella. Even though he's from the future, he understands the relevance of the past game known as rock, paper, scissors. Rally Zombie goes here because yeah, I think you know why. This guy's picking rock. He's literally got one on his head. It's the only thing he actually knows about. This guy picks. Wait, no, never mind. I'm thinking of someone else. This guy doesn't know how to play. This guy right here picks scissors still. Even the ancient coneheads still understand what they're doing. Flag Zombie picking paper. This guy picks dinosaur, which is not in the game. He goes like, "Bleh! Bleh!" And he holds up like fingers in like a weird shape. This guy right here, he's picking rock. It's the only thing he actually knows about. It's the only word he knows. Rock. This guy right here, also picking rock. He only knows about rocks. This guy's picking paper. This guy's picking rocks. I mean, he has them strapped to his hands. But he'll try to argue that he was picking paper because his hands were flat. He's not. He actually meant to pick rock, but tried to find a way to cheat it. This guy doesn't actually know the rules. This guy right here, he picks scissors. They remind him of his sword and shield. This distinguished-looking imp picks lost treasure. Obviously not in the game. This guy picks scissors because he's actually just asking you for scissors. He's like holding up two fingers like, hey, do you have a pair of snip, snip, snip? I don't know what these things are called. And he does it because he's trying to cut the line to his parachute and he doesn't know how. That guy has an atrocious hairline. Oh my god. I actually don't know who this is. That's another one I don't know. I think it's like magician, but that's pretty obvious from looking at him. He just actually like tries to kill you with his magic spells, which is against the rules. This guy actually you can't even play with because he just tries to beat you with his microphone, which is obviously against the rules, and he definitely does not know that. Football mech. Something completely made up. You're not allowed to topple your opponents over by shoving them with your giant robot. This guy's a cheater. This guy picks paper. This guy also picks paper. This guy picks stereo system, which is obviously not allowed. This guy actually picks paper. This guy, obviously picking paper. He's a flag zombie. This guy right here picks scissors because he likes to listen to this guy and this guy shred it. Nutcracker? He picks rock. because he actually eats rocks. He has a very rock-based diet. Octozombie picks octopus, which is obviously not in the game, as we all know. This one picks paper. I don't even need to tell you why. This one also picks paper, and I need to tell you why. It's because they're holding a flag. This guy, he picks rocks because once again, all these zombies just keep getting stoned to death. This guy actually can't play. I'll actually have to make a whole new tier for that because I don't really have one for physically cannot play. He has no part of his body out there, can't play. This guy doesn't know the rules. He's been in there for so long that the game actually got invented while he was in there. So he came out and he does not play. Pianist zombie. It's random every time because of how much he's moving his hands around, but it's almost never rock. The barrel can't play because they have too many people on their team. There's too many people in there. Even though it's the same amount of these guys, but these guys are in one body. These ones are in a barrel. Barrels are not the same as bodies. This one is also random every time. It's the same story as these guys. They just keep arguing. The parrot is actually in charge, but this guy keeps trying to pick things because he's the one with actual hands. The Jolly Roger, I think his name was. Roger actually doesn't know the rules. He's been lost at sea. This guy right here picks something completely made up. You want to hear what he picks? Too bad. This guy, he picks rock. We're going back to this. They're all super simple. There's not a thought in their heads. This guy also picks rock. This guy picks rock. Prospector, he actually picks blowing up. The pterodactyl actually has to pick paper because they're wings. The punk guy, he picks the little thing that people do with their hands when they're listening to rock music. He picks that, which is literally just not in the game. You can't do that. The pyramid head guy, he's actually pretty good. It is random every time, but there's consistency to the randomness because he looks at his opponent and he's like, "All right, I see all my opponents. Let me go and make a tier list of which ones I think will pick what." So it seems random every time, but there's thought behind it. The Velociraptor pick chooses to kick his opponents in the crotch, which is actually an elimination, so that's actually against the rules. This guy picks staff to absorb the sunlight. They actually removed that recently. Not a lot of people know that. I've been running into a lot of people who have been picking staff that steals the sunlight, and I really got to spread the news. It's actually why I made the video in the first place, is because I wanted to spread the news that they actually did remove that from the game. A lot of people just don't believe that. I didn't believe it at first, but then I read the patch notes. Lost Relic Exploring Johnson. He doesn't know the rules. The cone guy, he has to pick scissors. He only has 2 fingers, if you even want to call those fingers. We all know it's paper. The bull guy, he actually can't play because he has no arms. He actually has hooves. He can't actually bend those at all. This guy, he picks scissors. He's a Chad. Julius Seizure. He picks salad dressing because he throws it at you. Not in the rules. Coliseum Conehead. He picks rock because I don't know. Why would you expect me to know that? Why do you expect me to know why he picks rock? I don't know what goes on in all of their heads, alright? Jeez. Paper. He obviously picks paper. I understand exactly what's going on inside of all these dudes' heads, and I know that he would pick paper. Furry. He actually can't play. He's been banned from the tournaments. Shield guy picks shield. Not in the game. Not in the game, but he actually thinks it is. So it's not doesn't know the rules. He's just cheating. This guy also can't play. I'll just do that now. This guy ooh, I don't actually know about this guy. I'd say random every time. I gotta make an assumption for him. I'm sorry. I wanted to leave assumptions out, but I'm gonna have to assume for him. Very sorry. I'll do better next time. I'll do my research first. This guy actually can't play because he's been banned. See how his arms aren't out? Like how his arms retract? He actually takes longer to release his arms than his opponent does, and he'll change what his hands are doing inside of it. So when they come out, he just changes it to what the other person does. A lot of the time, he actually doesn't even win because he's just stupid, but it's still cheating, and he's been banned. Infested with tiny imps gargantuar. He actually can't play because he's just being puppeted by these guys. No, I'm just messing with you. He picks tiny yeti imp. Scuba diver doesn't know the rules because he spent his entire life in the ocean. Stegosaurus picks scissors, as we obviously know from his scissor-like back spikes. Long legs guy, he actually can't play because he has a height advantage over his opponents, so he's higher up. So he actually sees their move seconds before they actually move their hands. So he's like seeing the future because he's tall. That's how being tall works. That's why people want to be tall, because it lets you see into the future a little bit further. And it means he's been banned. Strongman Gargantuar, we're going all the way back to Rock, dude. They're evolving backwards. This guy picks Surfboard. Not in the game. A lot of these zombies really just need to learn how to play this. Maybe then they wouldn't be zombies. This guy actually can't play because he's actually been dead for the past 7 years. Yeah, I know. This guy picks Bones. It just isn't in the game. This guy picks Fire, of course. This guy actually just screams at you, which has gotten him banned from the tournaments. This guy picks Ice Block, which not in the game. Turkey, they pick Paper because they can't actually really do much else with their hands. Turquoise Skull guy, he picks Rock. Technically he picks Skull, but it's close enough. This guy picks Weasels, which is just made up. This guy actually just beats you to death. He can't play. The Wizard will turn you to a sheep, which you might think is cheating, but they actually do allow that in the rules. People have been trying to get a petition to disallow you from turning your opponent into a sheep, but I actually disagree. I think it makes the game a bit more interesting. It adds some depth to it, and he actually is random every time, but he wins because his opponent's a sheep. He's actually like pretty good. It's pretty impressive. I'd recommend watching him. This guy right here, yeah, this guy's a rock enjoyer. Z-Mech right here, he actually chooses to bomb his opponent, which is against the rules, because being turned into a sheep doesn't kill them. This guy, he's got a recycling bin on his head, so he obviously picks Paper. He's trying to spread recycling awareness. This guy literally has paper on his head. This one has a book of paper on their head. This one right here actually doesn't know the rules. This one right here actually picks scissors. This one right here, paper. They got a recycling bin. This one right here, paper. This one right here, paper. This one right here actually picks something completely made. Where did he go? Oh, there he is. He picks something completely made up. It's usually something like hacking the mainframe or breaching the firewall, which isn't even a real thing. This guy picks vase and throws it at you, which is not part of the game. This guy right here, he actually picks something random every time. He's one of the few who actually uses a little bit of thought and doesn't consistently choose the same thing. The bull rider guy, he also can't play, just like his friend. The cowboy imp, however, he chooses chicken parmesan, which is just it's not in the game. The chicken. Oh my god, that's kind of funny timing. That chicken parmesan. I said chicken parmesan and chicken was next. He picks Paper because he's got wings. Same with this freaking bird. I don't actually know what this is. The king. He actually doesn't know the rules. Medusa picks Rock because they turn you into one. This frickin' monkey, he actually doesn't know the rules because contrary to popular belief, most monkeys don't actually know how to play rock paper scissors. This parrot does though. He picks Paper. The Zombot Aerostatic Gondola. When Zomboss is in Lost City, you know what's in his mind? Treasure. So you know what he picks? Something completely made up, just like every single other Zomboss. You want to hear why? You want to hear why he picks something made up? He thinks he's better than everyone else. And he goes like, well, you see, you may think that I picked Rock, but I actually picked my Rock of Doom! And then he says like, and a billion zombies come out from it, and they eat your pathetic scissors. He doesn't even realize that eating scissors is not beneficial to the health of his zombies. Alright, so here's my tier list. If you disagree with any of my statements, then shut the fuck up.